is International Stand Up to Bullying Day. The semi-annual event encourages people to take a public stance against bullying, particularly cyberbullying. Well, the numbers are showing that 54% of South African parents know of a child in their community who has been a victim of cyberbullying. Let's chat some more about this now with cyberbullying expert Rianet Libowitz. She's in our Cape Town studios for us this evening. Rianet, good evening, and thank you so much for your time. I mean, this is very worrying when we look at South Africa having the highest prevalence, the research says, of cyberbullying. Based on that majority, that's 54% of South African parents knowing of a child in their community. I mean, that is very worrying. Why is that the case in South Africa? Is it that we are unaware? Are we too lazy? Do we not know what to do when it comes to keeping tabs on our kids?
Well, I think there are various reasons, but the good news is that we actually understand how important it is to put the spotlight on cyberbullying. The fact that parents actually realize that it is a problem and that they're noticing it, to me, is such a good sign, because then at least we can support them.
So let's just talk about what we're seeing happening, particularly here in South Africa. And I know it's probably the same the world over, but, you know, just to bring it closer to home, what are we seeing when it comes to cyberbullying? Because it seems, you know, you just get through one bit of social media, then there's something else that pops up that your children want to be a part of. It's so difficult to keep up as well. So what are we seeing? What is the language of cyberbullying here?
Well, first of all, cyberbullying is so intense because no longer does the bully just stay at on the playground or at the office. It goes home with you in your pocket, and the long-term effect of it is so much worse. But we get different types of cyberbullying, from exclusion, where there's a WhatsApp group and you're not included in that, right through to things like outing, where people are deliberately being humiliated, and where kids are having competitions where they say, you know, who's the stinkiest kid in class, or who's the fattest or the skinniest. And then, of course, you get these tendencies where they use platforms for the wrong reasons to really trick each other.
And I mean, you know, it's actually so serious now, because we've seen the deadly consequences. We've seen children take their own lives. We've seen how sick this is making children, how miserable it is making them as well. So what are the conversations we need to have with our kids about letting them know this is what is happening to you if this is being said on the platform that you're on, or this is being done?
Well, the first thing is to have a relationship with our kids. I really say to parents, that's our first point of contact, and the biggest weapon we have to fight this battle is the relationship. And of course, then the conversation comes. And if we are interested in their digital world, which, by the way, cannot be separated from our physical world anymore, it's so interlinked. And think about our daily lives. Everything that we do, or most of the things we do, from booking a movie ticket right through to doing their school homework, is done through digital. So if we can get them to talk to us about their digital lives and see that we are interested, not to manipulate them or to tell them they can't do this or that, but rather to say we're on this journey with you and we want to make sure that you are safe, and then have those conversations about different types of cyberbullying. And there's so many platforms available where we can find information. So from videos on YouTube right through to places like, you know, First for Women has got insurance for this, and they've got lots of beautiful articles, and yeah, there's so much information for parents, and that's where we can really play an active role.
All right, let's just give them the actual practical tips. And I know when it comes to this, there's a fine line between being nosy and, you know, invading your child's or your teenager's privacy and all of that. But and I've seen suggestions of some people saying set up, you know, a fake account, become part of the group. Now, where do you draw the line? What's acceptable, what isn't, and what are the safe things to do practically to keep an eye on your child?
Well, first of all, luckily, all apps have age restrictions, which helps us as parents in a great deal, because we can say, listen, this app is restricted from 13 upwards, you're allowed to use it, or YouTube, which has got an age restriction of 17 plus. So that is our first point where we can say this is the rule and we stick by it. Then, by being involved, yes, that's one angle, but there's also amazing parental control apps available, especially for younger kids, where we can manage their screen time and actually help them to really see who they are connecting with, because if we can teach them, look at who you connect with, who you are sharing information with, and what type of information are we sharing. So when we do create profiles on platforms, we need to be so careful as to what we share. Personal information, like where they go to school and where we live, etc. So those are the types of conversations we can have with our children.
Okay, so it's time to up your game as a parent. I think, Rianette, that is the message there. Rianette Leibowitz, thank you so much just telling us how to keep an eye on our children in this very scary world of cyberbullying.